Rob Reiner, September 2015. When Nick would tell us that it wasn't working for him, we wouldn't listen. We were desperate, and because the people had diplomas on their wall, we listened to them when we should have been listening to our son. We were so influenced by these people, Michelle added. They would tell us he's a liar, that he was trying to manipulate us, and we believed them. These are the Reiners, basically believing that they know better than professional, with people who deal with these kinds of drug addicts who are manipulative and liars and violent. They were the architects of their own demise. And here we're going to explore whether the other two children are also involved because of new developments that have come out. Why did this happen? Also, I'm going to give you a big tip here in this video. As we age, our butts, they become square. You know, you get those hips at the top. Well, there's a way for you to reverse it doing one single exercise. A lot of people think it's fat, but it's not really. It's that your hips are misaligned. When you are younger, you're wider at the bottom and narrower at the top because you're preparing to give birth. But as you age, it inverts itself. So you get wider at the top and narrow at the bottom, which is why we have that kind of butt. This one exercise is going to change it. It'll take you about 3 to 4 weeks to start noticing the change if you do it like 3 or 4 times a day, and it reverses. You realign the hips. If you're doing exercise to improve the glutes without first realigning the hips and the pelvis, you make it worse. So I'll teach you that also during this video. One quick exercise.
Didn't know what to do, so he listened to anybody who had a desk and a diploma to do exactly what you're talking about. But the truth of the matter is, you have to be who you are. And I made mistakes in that I didn't go with my gut instinct and the feel. And I know Nick better than, you know, some expert who's never met him. And I think had I listened to my own instincts, I would have done a lot better by Nick.
And were able to take into custody Nick Reiner, a suspect in this case. He was subsequently booked for murder. And
Hello, my name is Paula. I used to be a diplomat, and now I am a YouTuber. So welcome to my channel. Please don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe. And we have so much to talk about today. I also want to thank you for the PayPal donations and the super chats. Everything I'm making in this channel is going towards the girls' shelter.
I'm gonna go kill that dog. You know what? You're gonna have to bail me out of jail.
Where'd you get this weed?
My sick thoughts. Cause I like spat on his windshield. And I don't even care if anyone calls me a Sally, because I'm a snail and I'm never gonna fail. And you know what? You're gonna have to bail me out.
Rob Reiner and Michelle Reiner had 3 children. And one of them, clearly the middle child, who's Nick, ended up being a little bit problematic. Anybody would call that a middle child syndrome. They have vast resources, too much privilege, not enough discipline. By the age of 19, apparently he had been to rehab over 17 times, or at least 17 times. And it didn't work. Of course, no drug addict is going to want to be forced to quit. Of course they won't like it. Of course rehab is not something that they look forward to, because that's taken away the drugs that make them feel good, that makes them feel empowered. So of course then they're going to say, this isn't working for me. The trick with that is to stick it out and see it through. And even that is a lifelong struggle that you have to keep up. I wonder if Rob Reiner thought that he knew more than the doctors, because at the end of the day, the doctors were right. You can't manage a drug addict or any addict, whether it's alcohol or any other substance. You can't manage them, because first and foremost, the substance, getting that substance is their whole life. I've been watching the news and I've been very, very surprised about the outcome, the daughter finding the bodies. And the reason why I asked at the very beginning of this video is the police should really look into the other children, is because I'm going to put forth this little theory of mine. According to what the press says, the daughter is the one that found the bodies. She called 911 and then she called Billy Crystal. Now, the whole mess broke and the police came, and immediately she pointed her finger at her older brother, Nick. What's interesting here is that these very same siblings are paying for Nick's fancy lawyer because they say that this is what their father would have wanted for Nick. Let's not forget that what his father wanted for Nick, which was to be out of rehab, is what ended with him getting murdered. So clearly his father was not thinking straight. That was not a good strategy. But now the siblings are financing out of the same state of the murdered parents, his lawyer. And they're hoping that he's gonna end up in a psychiatric cell, where he's gonna get the treatment he needs. So now they're portraying him as a very vulnerable person with mental health issues. I don't know if he has mental health issues or not, but what it does seem to me is that he was a spoiled brat who had a lot of jealousy because he wanted to be better than his father. He wanted to be better than. He wanted to have more than. And he would throw tantrums when he didn't get it. The entire family was a hostage to this man's whims. And it's insane that now they want to portray it as an illness, as though he was a helpless person. This man, what he did was premeditated. He knows the difference between right and wrong. And I am shocked that I hear people saying, oh, but he had mental health issues, Now they're reframing it in such a way that, he's always struggled. He struggled with what? Struggle is when you're out in the streets on your own and you don't have any food, when you don't have food to put on your plate. And yes, he was homeless. He was homeless out of choice. And I believe that choice was because, he didn't like being on rehab because rehab was hard, was difficult. He didn't want to do it. And his father and his mother, rather than showing him tough love, which I think is a pattern from a very young, that he never got enough discipline. He was never told no, or if he was, it was like, oh my God, we're really sorry. Because it shows in the fact that for the past 5 years, according to multiple sources, he has been terrorizing the entire family. Now, why I'm saying is that the police should really look into the other two siblings, because who is to say that the other two siblings are not in on it? They are the ones who benefit from to inherit the $200 million state. And they're the ones who are paying for their middle brother, for Nick's lawyer. Who is to say that they didn't plan it together and then they said, we're going to use Nick's mental health as an excuse. We're going to get you out, bro. We're going to get you out, bro. This doesn't make sense. Not only did he slit their throats, he stabbed them repeatedly. So this is the very same man that now the two other siblings are saying, oh, we want him out, or we want him to go to a medical facility where he might get out someday. A man who's clearly a danger to anybody, because listen, in order for you to kill your parents like that, it takes a lot, because you can buy guns in California. You could buy guns. It's less personal, less hateful. But I don't know, something is not right for me. And I don't know why, but I would, if I were the police, yes, of course, I believe that Nick was clearly the vehicle to murder the parents. But I wonder if he was the only one, or if it was egged on by the sister and the brother, who are now inheriting their parents' whole fortune, because this doesn't make sense. So basically the parents, the slain parents, are paying for the murdering son to get out scot-free. And everybody in Hollywood, they all knew that there was a problem and they did nothing. They didn't intercede, they didn't intervene. Until, of course, it's too late. And this is why I say that in Hollywood, it's like, oh, we all knew. With Harvey Weinstein, oh, we all knew. With Jeffrey Epstein, oh, we all knew. So if you knew, why didn't you do anything about it? Why didn't they do something about this person? Because from what I've heard also in the newspapers, or people talking, or the witnesses saying, that they were told not to be mean to Nick during the Conan party, or the party the night before, because he has mental health issues. So again, the mental health issue problems. No, I think he was a prick. I think he was an entitled prick with too much access to things, and he knew it. And he liked it, and he got away with it. And now I don't know if his siblings are in on it, but there's something that is, I don't know, something is not sitting with me quite well, but maybe I'm wrong. You know, I guess only time will tell. But then again, if the police don't investigate the other brother and sister, we will never know, will we? It's just odd. There's something here that is not sitting quite well with me. He's an entitled prick who knows people are going to bail him out, where he's not going to be held accountable for anything, because I don't think he has said sorry, to tell you the truth. I don't think he will ever apologize, because he feels entitled. He feels hard done by the fact that he was living in a mansion. He had access to the best of the best. He was surrounded by great people. You know, you can literally be dying, and a narcissistic, a malignant psycho will find a way to complain about you not being there because they're dying. It's always about them. And that's what I see that's happening here. Please let me know what you think. And don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe, beautiful people.